Somebody asked me recently, because I started talking about the Bible and kind of coming back to church and finding a lot of the stuff more interesting and more connective to me and my mature age. And somebody asked me, what's your favorite story from the Bible? That's a fair question, And I say this, man. I always enjoyed the story of Noah. That was always one that I really liked. But recently, I have really been enjoying the book of Enoch. I love the story of Enoch and how he saw all these different levels of heaven, my favorite one, because I think it's just very interesting, is how, the third heaven in the garden. Because I've seen a lot of things on History Channel and stuff like that where people, there's biblical explorers that look for, historical proof of the Bible. They've searched for Noah's Ark and the remains of Sodom and Gomorrah and the tomb of Jesus Christ. And there was an episode that I remember watching a couple years ago where they believed that they had found the remains of the Garden of Eden. And I've always felt like the Garden of Eden was connected to something higher than earth in reading the story. And I really love in the story of Enoch when they're describing the garden in the third heaven and how this was a place that was made to reward the believers in God. I think, I don't remember them saying it. Maybe they did. Maybe I just don't remember. But I believe that that's actually the Garden of Eden is the third level. That when Adam and Eve were ejected from the garden, they were basically ejected into the mortal world to face their sins. But the Garden of Eden was something more. Supernatural, was heavenly. And at some point, there was I had heard the story of how God had raised the garden after he had ejected them, which would make sense that he brought the garden to heaven, and that the third level of heaven that Enoch saw was the Garden of Eden. And I think that's a really cool piece of the story, and to believe that those of us who do follow God and earn our place in heaven will get to see it in its majesty again one day. But anyway, like, subscribe, leave a comment. What's your favorite story from the Bible?